All right, y'all. So welcome to live. Welcome to live. Like I said, we're setting a timer for 44 minutes, 44 seconds. We're talking about the 4 forms for you. Okay, so what are we going to get into today? All right. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to present something and I'm going to share my screen here on YouTube. And I'm going to go to, let's go to entire screen. I don't think that there's really anything that you guys don't really need to see. So the whole thing about this is that I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go directly to one of the first forms. Okay, one of the very first forms. So this form specifically, hold on, I'm gonna go over here to let me present it a little differently. I think it's that way. Yeah, that should be good. I think I like it like that. Ultimately, so this is the first thing that we're going to be getting into. Okay, so you guys can see this on YouTube, the Spiritual Shepherd. If you guys are seeing this on TikTok, all right, you guys can chime in on my YouTube live where I am actually showing you guys the forms. I'm going to give you the 4 forms just for the people who are only going to be here for a couple moments. The W4 form, okay, the W4 form, the form 56, the form 2848, and the W8BEN, okay? The form 56 is the notice concerning fiduciary relationship. The 2848 form is the power of attorney and declaration of representative. These are specific words and specific meanings. The W8BEN has to be a certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner for United States tax withholding and reporting as what? Individuals. So you guys must do the W8BEN before you do the W4. Okay, so you're going to create a certificate as that you have asserted your foreign status as a beneficiary of what? The all caps name, okay, which is their name for you. The all caps name is the thing that you see in the mail. That's what the all caps name is, what you see in the mail. So this is a certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner for this specific thing, okay? So your tax withholding and reporting is directly connected to this. Now, we're going to show you guys how to file tax exempt, all right? This is educational, entertainment purposes only. All right. Educational and entertainment purposes only. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the W4. All right. You guys can see this live on YouTube, but the W4 is what we call the employees withholding certificate. A lot of people know what a W4 is, but they don't know that there's 80 different ways to be able to file this thing. All right. Literally. So you might have been taught a specific way. So first and foremost, step 1, they're going to ask you first name, middle initial, last name. Okay. They're going to ask for your social. They're going to ask for an address. That's pretty much what people ask. They ask for a name. They ask for an address. They'll ask for a phone number. They'll ask for an email address. Those are the 4 ways that people will normally get a hold of people. And that's how you mark it. So it's either based on your name. It's based on reverse skip tracing addresses. Okay, phone numbers and emails. All right, but ultimately with the W4 form, the employees withholding certificate, this is how you file exempt. This is how you make more cheddar. It's already the cheddar you're making. It's already the money you're making, but now you're not withholding it from yourself. Like, I don't get why people would be like, I'm going to withhold this from myself because, you know, just makes no sense. So you're going to fill out the first name, the middle initial. So you're going to do first name, middle initial. All right. Middle initial, last name. All right. So that's the first thing. Then you're going to fill out an address, 555, you know, we're just going to make up an address for you guys. 555 5th Street. Okay. All right. And then the city, normally you'll put like a county, a city county. That's a big one because counties are unincorporated. And then when you put the state, you put republic. So like for me specifically, I'm not like too crazy. I don't mind. But I live in California Republic. I don't live in the state of California. I'm just going to let you guys know that. I might do business with the state of California, but I do not live in the state of California. I might do business with the state of California, but I don't live in the state of California. Does that make any sense to anybody, guys? Okay. I'm from California State, Republic. Okay. I live in the Republic of California State. Okay. Now I might do business with the state of California, but I don't live in the state of California. I hope this makes sense for you guys. So that's what you do. You put, something county down, you put the state, and you put the zip as all zeros. So the zip is all zeros. Now for step one, number or letter C, you could either file as single, married filing jointly, or head of household. So this is the way that you could do this. So you can either file single or married filing separately, or head of household. Depends on if your marriage is public or private. So for the head of household specifically, if your marriage is private, to their knowledge, you're unmarried. So from that would mean that you could still file as head of household, meaning that if you cover more than half the cost of keeping up the home, keeping up the household specifically with you and another qualifying individual, what does that mean? You have a roommate, you have a wife, you have a fiance, you have a girlfriend, but the wife would be as a private marriage, not a public marriage. Okay, so that's a big one. All right, so you can file single or head of household for the people who know what I'm talking about. Now, ultimately, the biggest thing that you guys can do cool. The biggest thing that you guys can do is the main thing on the W4 is step 4. Okay. So step 3, you're not going to fall for their trap. You're not going to fall for their trap where they're going to say, hey, if you make under $200,000, you make $200,000 or less, then, multiply any qualifying children under age 17, you can get an extra $2,200 per person. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay, don't fall for it. That's what they're hoping, because it's a trap. All right, just like in Star Wars, it's a trap. It's a trap. All right. So now we're gonna move on to step 4. So for step 3 on the W4, you're gonna put on 3A, you're gonna put 0. On 3B, you're gonna put 0. On step 4, you're gonna put 0. On step 4A, you're gonna put 0. On step 4B, you're gonna put 0. On step 4C, you're gonna put 0. And then now since 2026, they've even put an additional thing where it says that you are exempt from withholding. Now it says, I claim exemption from withholding for 2026 or 2026. And I certify that I meet both the conditions for exemption. So what are the conditions? You guys have to study this. It's not difficult. Okay. It's not difficult. Don't overcomplicate it in your brain. Okay. Simplify it, because it really is. That you meet both the conditions for exemption for 2026. See exemption from withholding on page 2. I understand that I will need to submit a new W4 form in 2027. So this is the way that you're going to have. So, all right, now here's a little story time for you guys. I have like an app. I work with Cheesecake. All right. I work at Cheesecake Factory. And ultimately, the biggest thing about this, guys, the biggest thing about this is that I looked at all of my stuff. I live on tips. All right. I don't really get much of a check. I don't really get much of a W-2 check and all this type of stuff, where you guys might get like $1,200 for a week. I don't do that. I'll get that like in tips and stuff. So this is how I know it's a lie. This is how I know it's a lie. All right. This is how I know it's a lie. What they're telling me right now, this is how I know it's a lie, bro, is they're telling me this right now. They're saying that, the tips that you get is kind of like an upfront thing based on what you're getting paid. And so we're going to, based on how much you get in tips, we're going to take this out in taxes. We're going to take this out in deductions. So I added up my deductions and I added up my taxes, and they're like 3 or 4 times more. My taxes and deductions are 4 times more than the net pay based on just like credit card and hourly wage. All right. Because that's all that they can monitor. That's all that they can monitor. So what does this mean? What does this mean? So if I claim a new claim form from 5 years before, which was in 2021, which I was told, oh, file this way, I can even go and see the way that I filed. I'm going to go see it right now. I'm going to explain this to you guys. I'm literally going to sign in right now. And I'm not going to give you all the numbers, but like tens of thousands of dollars in deductions, thousands of dollars in net pay. Okay. Multiple thousands in taxes, almost equal to that of like the regular pay. Now they're telling me as a server, this is what they're saying. They're telling me that when I get tipped $1,200 in the week, that I should make close to zero on my paycheck. Like it's kind of like I'm getting an advance is like actually the term that they use. Like, oh, you're getting an advance. You're getting an advance. You're getting an advance of the money that you're already making. No, come correct. I'm still working the same amount of hours, putting in the same amount of hours as every single other person. There shouldn't have been taxes on tips to begin with. There shouldn't have been taxes on tips to begin with for any servers in the house. Okay. Additionally, too, is there shouldn't be, you are not a federal employee. Do you work for the post office? Do you work for the federal government? No, you're not a federal employee. Why are you paying federal employee income tax? Because you're not a federal employee. You just don't do that. So that's the biggest thing about this form, is that people will fall into it. Look, complete form W4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. So you're not making federal income. You don't work for the IRS. You don't work for the CIA. You don't work for the FBI. You don't work for the police. You don't work for the post office. You don't work for public service notaries. You don't work for the military. You don't work for these different types of things. That's where federal income taxes actually play a part. That's where federal income plays a part. That's where the tax would be on federal income, right? Does that make any sense? Yeah? Okay. So you have been swindled your entire life. Okay, you've been swindled your entire life. And like I said, this is educational entertainment purposes only. It's all hypothetical, and you guys can delusionally believe or not believe anything that I say. But I think you should. I think you should. I think you should. All right. So this is the main one. All right. So first, middle, last, 555 Fifth Street. Okay. And then normally you'll spell everything out. That's the big thing too. You'll put like something county and then state republic. All right. That's the first thing. All right. That's the first thing that. So on step 3, it'll say claim your dependents. So you got kids, you guys got whatever it is. You got anything like this. 0, 0, 0. Just do all zeros because that's where they fall suit. Okay. Step 4 is the biggest one. So step 4 is about other income that you're claiming. So are you claiming other income from not jobs? Are you claiming other income from deductions or their deductions? So use the deductions worksheet. So what is deductions? Deductions is all the other BS. Deductions is all the other BS that, you see what I'm saying? Extra withholding. What is extra withholding? Okay, extra withholding. 0, 0, 0, 0, exempt 0, 0. You're going to put it on everything. You're going to put zeros on legit everything. What's up? Yes, I'm speaking English. All right. So the big thing about this, there's a new thing on the W4. You are not a federal employee as much as you think that you are. Like you're filing W4, your employer is going to have you file one, whatever. Okay. The whole thing about this is that you're going to say, I claim exemption from withholding for 2026. Okay. So you'll check that. You'll print this, you'll sign it, you'll have your employer sign it, and you'll have either you or your employer mail it directly to the IRS. And within 14 days, you won't have no deductions. You won't have no taxes. You'll be completely tax exempt from this. And this is, first of all, my right, by the way. This is my right, by the way. I can't I can't, like they have like certain restrictions on lives and stuff. So I can't, but whatever. Anyway, so that's the main one for W4. So that one's really easy. That one's actually really, really, really easy. So let's speak on this. A lot of people say, well, are you a non-resident? That's how you would do it. I'm a non-resident alien. Because I'm a non-resident alien, I'm not technically a U.S. citizen. I'm a non-citizen national. Boom. Passport. So you'll literally put them on. You'll say, hey, here's my copy of my passport. You're going to send this directly with this. And you're going to say, I am not a federal employee. I am not a United States citizen. I am something even in a higher jurisdiction. And I'm operating in the highest jurisdiction in forms of ID, because this is federal. Look at it. It's federal. It's federal. You see that on the back of the dollar bill. That's what I'm saying. So you put them on notice. Okay. You put them on notice. All right. So that's the big thing too. All right. So we're going to keep going. You'll go down, you'll do all the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You're going to do all this type of stuff. All right. So because everything's zeros and now you are completely what we say exempt, you'll put non-resident alien, you'll put non-citizen national, boom, mail it in or get it signed by your employer, mail it in, update it with your employer. Now you're not going to have withholdings like everyone else will have withholdings, because you're not like everyone else as much as they want you to be. Okay. Let's move on. W8BEN. This is another one that's very important. The W8BEN form W8BEN. Okay, there's multiple W8s. There's multiple W8s. Okay, but we're specifically working on the W8BEN. All right. Now there is also an additional one that you are not an individual. So your W8BEN-E, which would be that you are an estate, meaning that you have upgraded your social security number or that of your social security number to an estate. And then you would go off the W8BEN-E. This is for winners. All right. Only winners really do stuff like that. Okay. Now, there is also known like as a W8ECI, but that's another type of thing. All right. And then 2, you are a beneficial. Do not use this form if you are a beneficial owner who is receiving compensation for personal service performed in the United States. That would be like a W4. But on the W4, you're filing exempt. So this is exactly aligned with this. The name of the individual who is the beneficial owner. So you're going to put this in lowercase. All right. You're going to put this in lowercase. You're going to put this in lowercase. The county. Okay. You'll put the county or the country of citizenship. So you'll put America or United States of America, and you'll spell it out for them. Not United States, period. Not all caps United States, not US, not US. Okay, nothing like that. You're going to put either USA or you're going to put United States of America. Okay, so you'll put United States of America. You have to put America in there. A permanent resident address. Do not use a P.O. box or an in care of address. So what you'll do is the permanent residence address. So you can use a rural route number. So that's what you'll use. You'll use a rural route number, and that would, and you can also remain private. All right. Include postal code where appropriate, country. Okay. Mailing address if different from above, city or town, province, U.S. taxpayer. So the SSN or the ITIN. All right. You're going to include these different types of things. And then what you're going to do in part 2, number 10, is you're going to fill it out a specific way. I'm on the 0 file list. I'm a non-citizen national. I'm a non-resident alien. You're going to put all your different types of selections. This is putting them on notice, and they're going to create a certificate with this on notice. And you are literally, and then you're going to sign it and send that in. Okay. You're going to send that in. So what does this mean? That you have certified that you are of foreign status to that of the United States. What does that even mean to you guys? Do you guys even know what that means? So that means that you are your own country, you're your own micronation, or you're representative of another nation that's an equivalent to the United States. Okay. Corporation specifically. So the whole thing about this, like, you do live in America, but it's way different than that of the United States corporation. They're 2 different entities. They're 2 different things. There's the land mass, the land that you actually live on, which is what we call America. Okay. or Turtle Island is a really easy way for you guys to get it. But then there's what we know as the United States Corporation, the U.S. Corp. Okay, the U.S. Corporation. It is the business of how the United States does business. That's all it is. Okay, and so what you are is you are an all caps franchisee of that. Okay, so like Chick-fil-A, like McDonald's, and one big way that I explain private versus public is In-N-Out versus McDonald's, bro. It's real easy. It's real easy to get once you get it. In-N-Out is completely private, okay? And McDonald's is a completely public traded company, okay, as a corporation. It literally throws corporation on there, NYSE, all these other different types of things. They trade and do all those types of things. Have you ever traded In-N-Out stock? No, you've never done that because it's in private equity. Because it's in private equity. That's why. That's why, because it's in private equity. Okay. So you are also and can also operate in your private capacity, but you've never been trained or told that you can do so. You've never been trained to be able to do so. That doesn't mean that you can't do so. It just means that you probably don't know how to do. Okay. So that's the whole thing about this. You're going to claim these specific things. You're going to literally certify this. Okay. And you're going to sign, and you'll sign as the beneficiary signature because it's what? Sign to the beneficial owner. So this is the one way that you're going to sign as a beneficiary. Okay. Let's move on. The W8BEN. So we've done the W8, we've done the W4, and we've done the W8BEN. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay. I'm going to actually save power of attorney for last. Power of attorney for last. Okay. The next one is Form 56. Okay, Department of the Treasury, the Internal Revenue Service. The people I like to go through is the Treasury. I like when the Treasury pays me. I prefer when the Treasury pays me. I don't need nobody else to pay me. The Treasury can pay me. The Treasury can pay me. All right, give me all the treasure. All right, I'm cool with the Treasury paying me. Now, what you're going to do is this is a notice concerning fiduciary relationship. So you were the fiduciary, you've been the fiduciary, or you are asserting yourself to become fiduciary. So that's the thing too, is that you have reached what we call age of majority. So you're going to write the name of the person of whom you're acting as shown on the tax return. So you're going to write what you'd say is the all caps name, the identifying number, or the descendant's social security number. It would be the number that you say. You'll do the address of what it's forming. If you have a PO box, you could do that. So there's different types of things for the same forms to go to the same type of place, the Internal Revenue Service. Okay. There's different places or different things that you can do on different forms. So the main thing about this is that you are changing the fiduciary status. What you're doing is you're asserting your rights, and you're saying that, hey, I'm in charge now. I'm the captain now. That's what you're telling. I am the captain now. You're going to him and saying, I am the captain of the ship now. Now, when the ship was built, when I got my birth certificate, when I got my birth certificate, you guys had borrowed against that for the first 18 years. And then I didn't know about it for the next 18 years. I didn't know about it for the next 15 years or whatever. But I figured it out. I got it authenticated. I got my passport corrected. I got my status corrected. I updated all my forms. And now I'm operating out of a private irrevocable trust. Now I'm operating as a tax exempt non-citizen national. Now I'm operating in proper capacity, et cetera, et cetera. I have the right to travel. I don't operate from a DMV type of card, a lower jurisdiction where there's fines and fees and all this other BS. You operate above that. You're Men in Black. You're MIB. Okay, so the whole thing about this is that when you fill this specific thing out, you'll fill it out. And there's different ways to do this. So if you guys have any questions, I fill it out with you guys personally. You guys can always set up a call with me. It's not that crazy. It's $7 call, and I help you guys set this stuff up. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll sign all this. You'll go through section A, B, and C. So whether you're going to have a total revocation or termination of election, you're not necessarily going to do this. What you're going to do, you're not terminating you that you're not going to exist in their system. What you're doing is you're terminating that they can access your system on behalf of you when you ain't ever told them that they can do it. That it's all like that. You're putting people in place. You're putting them on notice concerning what? Fiduciary relationship. I'm making sure that the fiduciary is in the proper capacity, that they're not trying to step out and they're trying to step over me as the beneficiary. They're trying to take the beneficiary's benefits by the way that they're operating. Then you'll go through power of attorney, the declaration of representative and declaration of representative. So we notice something as like an authorized representative. So this is a lawful term. So what you're going to do is you are going to give yourself, your living beingness, the power of attorney over your all caps name. That's what you're going to do. Okay. The 2848, the form 2848. Okay. You're going to go on there, the taxpayer information. You're going to put all the taxpayer information, all the other stuff, all the numbers, all the fun stuff, all the stuff that they like, all the code, and you're going to put your living being as the representative. Okay. As the representative. Acts as the authorized, you are required to. So then you're going to sign. You're going to have specific types of things that you can add additional notes. Okay. You must attach a copy of any power of attorney you want to remain in effect. So this revokes. You can also do a revocation of a power of attorney to all other powers of attorney that were before you, which is really important, which is really ultimately very important. So, or you could only give them limited power of attorney. So that's a big thing too. So yeah, we'll talk about that. But ultimately, just so you guys know, then there's declaration of representative. Okay, so the biggest thing is if not completed, signed, the IRS will return this power of attorney to the taxpayer. Okay, so declaration of representative. Under penalties of perjury, I am not currently suspended. Okay, boom. I am subject to, I'm authorized to represent the taxpayer. Boom, I'm authorized to represent. Why? Because I have a living being rights. That's why. Okay, so that's the big thing too. Attorney, a member in good standing of the bar of the highest court of the jurisdiction shown below. A certified public accountant, an enrolled agent, an officer, a full-time employee of the taxpayer, a family member, a member of the taxpayer's immediate family, an enrolled actuary, an unenrolled return preparer, okay, a qualifying student or law graduate, or an enrolled retirement plan agent. So these are all different selections of declaration of representative. What one would you be? What would you be? Okay, so there are multiple different things. Now you could be an authorized representative. Now a certified public accountant is a holder of an active public license to practice as a certified public accountant in this jurisdiction shown below. So this is all explaining that it's all within what? A jurisdiction, a specific jurisdiction. There's laws within this certain bubble. And if you're out of the bubble, and you can even kind of be in the bubble. So there's level. That's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people are born in the bubble. They don't know that they're in a bubble and that they can never be out of the bubble operating for their all caps that's born in the bubble. Does that make any sense? You're born in the U.S. or you're technically not, because it's really, were you ever born in D.C.? Unless you're born in D.C., you're not a U.S. citizen. So you're a national beforehand, and then you subjugate yourself to U.S. citizenship. Okay. Like I said, educational and entertainment purposes only. You guys don't have to believe anything that I say. Okay. So the main thing is that you would do these 4 forms. This is what you do. You do these 4 forms. So let me read them off one more time. You're going to do the W4. Okay. You're going to do the W8BEN. You're going to do the Form 56. And you're going to do the 2848. They're very easy to fill out. They're very easy to fill out. Now, when you fill out these 4 forms, things change. When you are actually doing these 4 forms, there's something that you unlocked. And this is what we know as, I'm going to say it, I'm going to name drop it. You are a secured party creditor. You are what you known as somebody who is in good standing. You are a creditor to that of this being, meaning that you have jurisdiction to operate all the private credits. What does that mean, guys? So when they say, look, it says it right here on their forms, bro. Claim dependent or any other credits. So every person has credits. Where do you get credit from? Why do you have credit? Why do you get credit? Why are you denied for credit if the credit's yours? Why? So these are all really, really important questions. So when you do these 4 forms, 444, when you do these 4 forms, this is how you enhance who you are representing yourself as an authorized representative. I'm going to pause this. And I'm going to mute me. All right, guys. So now that I've returned, okay, we're going to be getting into this. All right. So first and foremost, you want to fill out these 4 forms, the W4, the W8BEN, the Form 56, and you want to do the 2848. These are specific things where this will get you connected into being a secure party creditor. I would say if you need to do the passport process, please reach out to me. Okay. Privately, I've done the passport process for multiple people, gotten 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. 3 to 5 star is where it's at. Everybody will say, oh, it doesn't matter this or that or whatever. It has everything to do with a risk score. It has everything to do with, and there's blends based on the back end, okay, and the federal aspects of it. Okay, it's not, don't overcomplicate it. Use your critical thinking skills and you guys will be unlocked. So with this, specifically the W4 form, like I said, guys, I had tens of thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in just deductions, bro. So like just like sending things to Social Security, just sending stuff to all this stuff, like literally all this stuff, Medicare and federal this and all this stuff. All right. And whether anybody's belief system, whether I should pay that or not, is not up to them because they're their own individual. They can claim what they want to do in the way that they want to live in the free country that we live in under constitutional rights, under constitutional laws. All right. So the best way that we vote is with our money and contracts. The best way that we vote is with money and contracts. I don't vote. I've revocated my election of voting because I don't see it as an election. I don't see it as something that I feel like I can change anything from. But what I can do is I can control me and I can be me. So with the W4 form, I'm not paying any of those deductions no more. So all the tens of thousands of dollars that I'm already making, and why am I giving it to some homie who be talking shit on me in another dimension I never met? And they can come hit me up and I'll help them. Like that's the thing too. So there's a certain like level of self-respect that you must have to take this process, to do this process, to go private. You have to have a level of self-respect for yourself that you see. The whole thing about it is a lot of people will say, oh, well, I'm a victim. I can't believe that he doesn't want to pay me. I can't believe he doesn't want to give me money. No, see it as a way of like, because I want to unlock the amount of capital that I can make, that I can do the same thing with you, that you can unlock a limitless amount of capital that you can make. That's the way that I'm thinking. It's significantly abundant. It's not a little bit abundant. It's not, I mean, think about it. A little bit of abundance doesn't make no sense. A little bit of abundance doesn't make no sense because abundance in and of itself is abundant. It's expansive. It's exponentially abundant. Okay. So that's the main thing. All right. So that's exactly what I would do. So I'd file, this 00000 exempt. I would print this out. I'd sign this. I would sign this right here. I would sign this right here. Or I'd have my employer sign right here. And then I would send that in. And then within 2 to 4 weeks, it'll be adapted and changed. It'll be adapted and changed. So then from there, now all those deductions are what? Going to my bottom line. They're going to my net pay, my net income. And I'm a non-citizen. I'm not a US citizen. So I'm not a taxpayer. So the whole thing about this is it's seeing yourself way differently. It's seeing yourself completely differently. So now imagine making tens of thousands of dollars that it would normally go to this and that and this and that and this and this and this and that. Okay. That you would now start to get all of that into yourself. You'd be able to invest that into yourself. You can invest that into supplements. You can invest that into longevity. Okay. You can invest that into a multitude of different things. Okay. And teach people to do the same You could take that money and do the full secured party creditor process, but you've already hit the main points of the secured party creditor process. You could do the declaration of trust, or you could do the certification of trust, the declaration of all these different types of things. And once you've done this, you are a secured party creditor. Like you can be pulled over, but there's no jurisdiction that you're in to where they can ticket you. Let me say that again. They can pull you over, but there's no jurisdiction that you're in that they can get you to subjugate yourself to, because you're not in that jurisdiction. That's an all caps name. That's a random name. That's literally a random name. Okay. So it has everything to do with this. All right. So the big thing, let's talk about it. Okay. The W8BEN. All right. The W8BEN at the bottom in special rates and conditions. And I certify that the beneficial owner is a resident of America, or the United States of America, or the American Republic, or the Republic of America, or American Republic, within the meaning of the income tax. So there's all this type of stuff. You do zero file. I've already saved and done a lot of stuff like this. This has very much helped people. Okay. So then with this, like say someone could pay me, let's say $500 to do this. And that would not only they'll pay the $500. Yeah. Do I really need it? No. But will I invest it? Absolutely. Will they be helped? Yes, absolutely. And that's where the benefit is. That's exactly where the benefit is. Okay. That's where it is. Now, don't allow yourself to be subjugated to something lower, because you are the living being. You're the highest jurisdiction there is in existence by nature. That's why they call it a signature, because you're signing your nature. So when you put your signature on something, you are putting your nature on it. You are insignifying your nature into that document. You are embedding it into the document. You are monetizing the document. You are creating a credential ultimately. Okay. So that's the big thing, is doing, let's say private marriages, let's say opening a trust, filing exempt, stuff like this. Like I said, educational, entertainment purposes only. You are the beneficiary. Okay. You're the beneficiary, the living being. And a lot of people are identifying as that's why they call it an identity card, because you're identifying as that thing. You're not necessarily that thing. You're identifying as that thing. Who are you really? Who are you? Who am I really? In the grand scheme of it, that's where you start getting those bigger questions, but they're going to try to trap you into your physicality. All right. So I'm going to name them off one last time, and I'll kind of get in and I'll conclude this. All right. So the W4, okay, the W4, step 4, you're going to do 0, 0, exempt, 0, 0, and then you're going to check the exempt box. Okay. You'll go and you'll do the W8BEN. Okay. Name of the beneficial owner. Okay. You're going to do the power of attorney, and you're going to do the form 56. All right. Now, I'm going to just move on. I might cut this a little bit later and the way that I edit this and whatnot. But the main thing about this is that once you're done, you are what we call a secured party creditor. Okay. A secured party creditor, not only that too, is you do not have to pay the U.S. debt. You look up U.S. debt clock on Google. Okay. On Ogle, look up the U.S. debt clock. All right. Look up U.S. debt clock. Okay. And I want you guys to see that this thing is just going to keep rising up. It's going to keep rising up. And who pays that? Who pays that? Who pays that debt? Okay. Well, there's $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. There is over multiple trillions of dollars in the US debt clock. Okay. When you start to live in the green and only in the green, when you start to make money and then your money makes money and you are not, let's say you're living below your means, but you're expanding and enhancing what your means mean to you. That's a big thing. Okay. That's a very big thing, is like that you're making way more money than you ever even need. And you are living on, you don't have to necessarily, like, there's levels to it. So wherever and two, certain investments might make you more things. So that's the big thing too. You have to see how to operate yourself. You are a business. You're a sole proprietor. Okay. An SSN is sole proprietor. It's really considered a disregarded entity. It's a disregarded entity. Okay. It's a disregarded entity. Now, the thing with this is that when you file this way, and you also do, like, let's say an index universal life insurance policy, properly structured and properly funded, okay, properly funded and properly structured, like the laser fund method by Doug Andrews and his sons, that what we can do is we would max fund it. So let's say that we put the first 5 years, the premium would be $100,000 per year. And so you would fund 6 figures, 100,000 for the first year, 100,000 for the second year, 100,000 for the third year, 100,000 for the fourth year, and 100,000 for the fifth year. And you don't need to pay another premium. So you put $500,000 in premium within the first 5 years. Okay, $500,000 within the first 5 years. Now from here, you can pretty much live on the interest. You can borrow from the cash value of that policy and go and buy cash flowing assets. So what would you do is you pull up some government lists, okay, or you'd find some pre-foreclosures or foreclosures. You'd find some Section 8 properties that you can build and that you can cultivate with, like build upon. Like the property's already there, but I'm saying like that you are going to, let's say you put $9,000 down, you get a DSCR loan on the rest of that property. You refinance, pull the equity, pull the equity, take that equity, go buy another Section 8 place, put that as down payment, do another DSCR loan, refinance, just rinse and repeat at that point. And eventually it does itself where your cash flow is so much in, let's say, public money or so much in because you own real property. Those properties are going to be within the trust. That trust money is also going to be connected with the IUL policy. The IUL will be connected with the trust. The business will be connected with the trust. It's about properly funding and properly structuring. That's what it is. Okay. You're closer than farther than you think that you are. You are closer than farther than you think that you are. A lot of people are overcomplicating things. They're not seeing that they have rights. They're not seeing that they have power. They're not seeing that you, like, why do you think these corporations try so hard to make you believe that you're worthless? Like every makeup brand, like anything, like, and then why, when everybody is like, you're worth something, you are worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it. You can be worth it. Yeah. Yeah. You can increase in your worth. Then it's like that person is either shadow banned, doesn't exist, or, like whatever, I just find that interesting. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to fill out these 4 forms, and this will absolutely change your entire life. Not only just the W4, like I was just saying, like just the W4 specifically, like All right. In conclusion, just the W-4. When you and your employer go through this, that you have set yourself up, that you are exempt, you're going to be making more money. You're going to be making more money for the money that you're already making. And then what will you do? You'll put that in what? In a longer term, like high yield savings account. You'll take any additional income that you're already making. And what will you do? You'll put it in an index a properly structured index universal life insurance policy. Okay. You'll put it into long-term real estate, long-term stocks, long-term trading. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with it? That's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. It is absolutely crazy when you start to realize that you can properly be structured in your business. You can properly be structured in your personal business. You are sole proprietorship. To the IRS, they consider you a disregarded entity, by the way. I'm just letting you guys know they consider you a disregarded entity until you're like a business, a trust, but like a transmitting utility or an employee is considered a disregarded entity, bro. So I want you guys to see this, all right? So by filling out this W-4 specifically, this is what you will do, okay? Then you can also do other types of filing and whatnot. And from here, this is what I'm saying is it will absolutely change your life. You could go farther and you can go to makefreedom.com and you guys can do like a full SBC process, an expedited process. You guys can get multiple identification cards that identify you as a secured party creditor, an international entity or an international estate, an international trust. You can have different licenses or I don't even like the word license, but you can have an identification card, an ID card that literally says like, oh, I'm under this trust. I'm under this trust. I'm a trustee of this vehicle that is owned by the trust, etc. It can't be touched, can't be taxed, can't be registered. It doesn't need insurance. Why? Because it's a secured party line. It's completely private. It pays for itself. It owns itself. It will heal itself. It will expand itself. It's all about being in a conglomerate or operating in a private conglomerate. And that is like where you would have a multitude of different things that are all doing the same thing. Okay. I would put it into real estate, Section 8 real estate and long-term wholesaling, owning land trust. I would, even maximize your own portfolio or your own trust where you're like, all right, well, now this trust has, 3 million or 8 million or 30 million, 80 million, whatever dollars that you have. What are you going to do at that point? What are you going to do? You're going to start to go buy homes. You're going to buy, I'll buy the land, I'll buy the house, I'll buy all this type of stuff. I'm going to buy the reinvestments. I'm going to do all of it. I'm going to enhance the ARV, the after repair value. I'm literally going to repair everything. I'm going to enhance everything. And then I'm either going to sell it, rent it. I'm going to rent each room. I'm going to Airbnb it. I'm going to, whatever it is. So there's levels to it. And that's where, I think that's where the fun of life becomes like, I just think that's where it just gets great. That's ultimately where it gets great. So peace, much love, namaste. See you guys all in the next one. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. But ultimately, yeah, these are the 4 forms that are super, super, super powerful, y'all. They're extremely powerful. And once you fill it out this way, you will see like you will work less. You'll work a lot less hard. You're going to work less harder, if that makes any sense, for the same amount that you're already working, or say like you just maintain the same way that you're already working. You're going to be paid more for the same that you're working. And then you'll put that, don't spend it, invest it. Don't spend it, invest it. Don't spend it, invest it. What do you invest in? You invest in all the other things that I was just saying. Peace, much love, namaste. See you guys all in the next one. I will see you guys tomorrow here on TikTok and on YouTube. Late, y'all.